My name is Grant Davis, and I'm the chairperson of the YALDA International iBootcamp 2024 here in South Africa. And it is a pleasure to see you all. Wow! Thus far, we've had such a great 3 days here at the Future Africa Center in Pretoria. We've had some amazing workshops with some of our partner organizations, including those run by the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, the Afrexim Bank, and just to name but a few. I can certainly tell you our delegates have told us that, for example, our site visits were incredibly informative and inspiring. And further today, we got to see some of the pitches that our young entrepreneurs started to deliver. And it's really exciting to see the level of effort put into those pitches and the feedback being provided by industry experts to allow them to be able to effectively deliver their message and to be able to also access finance. Some of the notable experiences that we have highlighted or have been able to see thus far during our journey here at the Future Africa Center include, for example, things like, and I will recommend one, and I recall one particular memory, is when somebody stood up and said during a panel session or a keynote address this morning about the fact that they did not know about the AfCFTA. But today, 2 days later, they're so much more informed and they become the evangelizers for the AfCFTA here in South Africa. So for me, that's an incredible experience, which also tells me that our content, our knowledge is incredibly invaluable and people are benefiting. Another very notable example is, of course, the fact that we've had many sessions where young entrepreneurs have been able to engage with some of our keynote speakers. But I can't end without actually mentioning the fact that our young delegates have certainly enjoyed themselves. And of particular note is the cultural night that we held yesterday, where some of our young delegates showed us just what their cultures were across the continent. And so we had individuals from Ethiopia, Mali, dressed in, among others, of course, dressed in their traditional dress, creating an environment that fosters inclusion, it fosters new relationships. And so I'm really excited by the experiences that I've been able to witness thus far. So the iBootcamp has had to adapt its program, its activities, its workshops and seminars to ensure that they are relevant to the needs of young people today, but also in response to the existing challenges that we have on the continent. So for example, we have had to ensure that we give young people access to some of the industry experts and policymakers who are actively working on, for example, some of the protocols that are still being drafted and negotiated. And so by being able to give people access to that, it gives them the ability also to enrich their resources, their understanding. Further, one of the things that we've done is really take great care around who it is that we are inviting, ensuring that our speakers too recognize that they're speaking to young people and that they too need to be passionate. But further, I think how we've also adapted is by recognizing young people already disproportionately suffer from limited access to finance, information, but most importantly, of course, networks as well, to be able to grow their businesses across border. And so by bringing young Africans from across the continent and showcasing their cultures and creating meaningful relationships over the last 3 days and for the rest of the conference, I am certain that we will be able to create meaningful change on the continent and be agitators for the AfCFTA and its implementation and achievement of the ideals of the Agenda 2063.